Hello guys, welcome back again. This is the fourth week of the 5-week drawing schedules. And what we'll talk about today is we'll introduce a new drawing practice for perspectives, which is called Form 2.0. And in this drawing practice, we'll focus on different things such as components, shapes. We'll do some analysis of big shapes and going on to minor details as well for special effects like waters or fires. But we'll talk in details later. So for perspective and colors, congratulations, there will be no new drawing practices. It will just be the week 3 practice continue onwards from now on to the future. What we'll do today instead is I will go through the 2 concepts for each of them. So what we'll learn in perspective this week is that we'll learn how to rotate an object in the same plane, as well as a concept of floated cube. For colors, we'll learn the light analysis, as well as the color process, what I call as white statue method. So for form capturing this week, in the files, it's like this, right? Form capturing 2.0. There's fish, lights, pigeons. We'll talk through them today. So first of all, starting with fish, I opened up this file where there are 18 fish. And what your job is this week is to draw all of them out. And instead of focusing so much on the accuracies previously, what we'll do is that we'll still maintain the precisions of our drawings to roughly around 60%, 70%. But alongside with it, we will add into some new concepts and new thinking process. So first of all, components and shapes. What I mean by that is that, previously, when it comes to drawing the fish, I used to ask you to do this, right? Just cut it out, use straight lines, like that, right? And drawing the whole thing out so that the fish is quite accurate and being able to see the angle differences between this one and that one, drawing the things out. So what I want you to do this week instead is that I want you to split the fish into different components. So that will mean when it comes to drawing this fish, we'll draw the body. So body will be a shape like that. The back fin will be like this. The tails, I think this is called a caudal fin, I think. So a caudal fin, I don't know what this is called. Another fin, as well as the tails over here. So then, after the 18 fish that you draw, you'll notice that when it comes to the fin, it will just be roughly around this kind of shapes, either this shape, that shape, or maybe a shape where the fin is being folded. And the benefits of this kind of components learning process of it is that next time when you're trying to draw a fish, you will remember that, okay, so the shape of the body is roughly like this, right? Like this. It's like a 5-sided shape. The face is like over here. And when it comes to the fin, you could recall that, okay, so I'll do this over here. I'll pick this one over here. I'll probably pick this one over there from my own memory. So like that. Now, as you can see that by this way of thinking and recalling all these kind of shapes, you will start to notice that when drawing an object, or after studying an object like fish, pigeons, lamps, you could use those components, combine them together, and draw your own fish. And the fish has become original. Then you don't need to go back to Pinterest again, look for a fish that fits your perspective. You could just draw it out yourself and adjust it a little bit. So when it comes to perspectives and the usage of it, is that we learned about shapes, right? So let's say the fish body looks like this, right? There we go. Like that. That's the shape being used by Foam 2.0. Then with the knowledge of perspectives, and do you still remember the things that we did last week, which is the 3D models and create that 3D object in our mind and draw it out. So with that in background, you are able to fill the shape, copy, paste, put it down here. You are able to add on the structure line for this kind of shape so that it will no longer be just a pure shape at all. It has become something that has a structure to it. So like that, right? Like that, like that, like that. Like that. Does that make sense? So this is what I call as combination of perspective with foam capturing. And when it comes to art studies over here, let's say we want to learn about legs, so thighs and calves in a human character. You can bring out the reference by, for example, taco. So you go on to Pinterest and type taco anatomy or taco arm, taco chest. Then there will be quite a lot of references for you to learn. And the benefit of that is that these pros has summarized the shape of the human bodies for you already. So you can just try to remember these shape. So the shape like this, right? This is for thighs. Okay, so for thighs, it's like that. So that's the front view. Okay. And if you remember from perspectives in week 1, which is there's 2 angles for a box, then you can say that this is a 0-degree angle from side view and 0-degree angle from down view. So 0 and 0. So let's say if I want to rotate the object to, let's say, a 25-degree angle on the side, but still 0-degree angle as a downward view. So 22.5, 0-degree. Then with the background knowledge of perspectives and 3D models, we could try to figure it out how we can do this. So that would be, so if I treat this object as a what's this called? Not a cube, rectangle. So then it will look like this. Right, that's how it will look like. And then like that, and then you could fill in the shapes again. So probably like that. Right, that's the front view, right? So probably like that, like that, like that, like that. As a result, it will look like this. That's the shape of 22.5 sideways view of the leg rotated one side. So that's the power of this foam capturing 2.0. So slowly, after doing more and more this kind of art studies for different components of human characters or guns or clothes, you will have a fantastic understanding about these kind of structures like clothes. Then when it comes to your own personal illustrations, you could add in all those knowledge into it, changing the proportions, adjusting the styles to it, so that your original artwork has become your own style. And that's my understanding about how to find your own style, which is by doing this kind of practice a lot. When it comes to the actual usage of foam capturing 2.0, so we talked about fish, right? And you might be thinking like, who's gonna use that? Like who's gonna draw fish? Then I found another reference, which is a pigeon or bird. Again, when drawing this, you could split the bird into either the head. If you want to split the head out, that's also fine. And then the body, the tail, and the wings. And you can see that if you do more and more of this kind of practice, you will notice that there will all kinds of different shapes for the wings, for the bodies. And with those knowledge, if you combine those random shapes together, then you can do this, some kind of this. You can see over here, like this, like that. That's a different perspective, different angles of the pigeon, like that. Or when it comes to just the pure shapes of it, you can draw something like this so that you can still sense the details of it, but then it's actually quite simple to draw. So overall, that's the application of the first part as well as the second part. And just to add on to one final point towards what I talk about combined shapes and original artwork, is that let's say you want to learn how to draw a lamp. And with Foam Capturing 2.0, you know that you can split the lamp into different components. So you drew this part on the top, and you drew this part at the bottom in another lamp. You could combine them together. So put it here, like that. And if you feel like it's still too obvious or doesn't feel right, you can adjust the proportions to that. And here you go. Congratulations, you got your own original lamp that has never been drawn. So this is what I mean by combined shapes equals original artwork or object. Going on to third part, we'll learn about the special effects and how to use Foam Capturing 2.0 to study these kind of effects. So let's say we want to draw water, and let me make this bigger. With this kind of special effects, it's quite difficult to learn the shapes, because look at this, for example. There you go. How am I supposed to remember this? Like this. Like this, like that. There's a circle over there, like that. That's too difficult for me. So instead, what we need to do is that we need to learn how to break it down, analyze it from the big shape slowly towards the details of it. So what I mean by that is that if we have a look at the shapes over here, this part, if we disregard all these minor details, the minor details of it, it looks like this, isn't it? And then after that, what we can do is that we could copy this part. And then start to add on to the smaller details afterwards. So over here, I call it as secondary details or minor details. So such as over here, you can see that some parts is being removed, some parts is being added, as well as this part, this part, this part. So what we can do is that I remember this part is being taken away, that part is being added to it. Water has a characteristic of this kind of shape. And I remember, yeah, over here there's a bit of it as well. And then over here, we could add on to some more. And then after that, I could cut this part out. And then what did she do? Oh, okay. So like that, I could add a bit more to that. Like that. Then here we go. We got our own water. There you go. And when Krantz was teaching us about this kind of adding minor details, so adding minor details, there's one important thing that we should be aware of, which is that, for example, over here, let me bring this out again. So now just now, I was punching hole on the same side. So over here, on this side, on this side, on this side, on this side, mainly on this side, I left this part intact, as well as this part intact. And the concept that he was saying is that when you want to remove parts, for example, in this section, try to remain one part being intact, one part has more details to it. In other words, you won't do a lot of punched hole on both sides like that, or a lot of like that, because what will happen is that it makes the audience hard to follow the flow of the special effect, because there's no long lines that is being seen in this illustration or in this special effect. So you could either keep this part intact and punched hole over here like that, and then keep this part intact, adding more things to it. Or you could instead keep this part intact, adding more stuff over here. But no matter what, when it comes to one section, you will try to maintain one part being well constructed and organized, and one part being more detailed and a bit messy. So if you have a look at over here, you can see that this part is intact. The inner part of the water has lots and lots of details to it. Same for this side, there's a long line over here, very well organized, very beautiful, easy for my eyes to follow. But then for this area, you can see that a lot of details is being added, quite messy, but it increased the information to this special effect. So hopefully that makes sense in terms of how to analyze a special effect or some random shapes, which is to, first of all, remove all those minor details and try to figure out what the biggest shape is, and then go on to analyze, identify the patterns of where the small details are, how he puts it, and the features of it. So that's the foam capturing 2.0. Going on to perspectives. So in terms of perspectives wise, first of all, we will learn about the rotation in a plane. So if we have a look at this illustration, you could say that the horizon line is over here, and the vanishing point is being nicely demonstrated to you over here. So if I want to rotate this chair in this plane so that it's not that boring, then how do I do it? It's actually quite easy. So what you'll do is that you will find a new vanishing points on this horizon line. So 2 of them you wish to. And then just draw the new chair according to it. So let's say this one is going towards there, that line is there, right? Roughly here. That line is going here. And that line is trying to touch this part. We draw this, that. Yeah. Then, so here you go. It's actually not that difficult, but if you think about it, This means that in the illustration, it doesn't mean that there's only one vanishing point or two vanishing points. It could be millions and millions of them, but as long as the object is on the same plane together, so standing all together on this beautiful plane, then all their vanishing points will be connected on that horizon line. So you could make another one over here, then you could draw like this, right? So that'll be like that. Like that, like that, like that. Here you go, here you go, like that. See, but it's still on the same plane. In terms of the application wise, if we look at this illustration, most of the objects follow this vanishing points. So if I reduce that, and that, right? So all going towards that way. You can see a little bit of Z line converging over here, but overall, see that it's all going towards the same plane. No, so you could see all of them are going towards the same vanishing points, but if we look closer, there are some outliers. Here you go. Who are you? Who are you? And if we try to find out where the horizon line is, it's actually quite parallel, isn't it? Probably here, I think. Probably here. Just an estimation, okay? Roughly here. Then if we try to find the vanishing points, it will definitely be on this horizon line. Like that. Here you go. And over here. So like that, like that. And for this line, it will either be a very slightly curved so that it will connect in a vanishing point far away, so that over there, like there, like very far away, like probably here. But this is the application of rotating object in the same plane, so that everything doesn't have to fit in just purely one or two same vanishing points, but instead you can add some variations to the object so that the whole illustration has some variations to it. Going on to the next concept that I want to talk about is the floated cube. This is a concept that Krantz introduced to me, which is quite interesting, to be fair. So if you have a look at this illustration, the things on the floor, fit quite a good perspectives towards here, towards there. And you can see that over here, right? Over here. So all these lines will converge, let's say roughly here. Here. Let's say roughly here. So that they will converge in over there and over there. But then if you want to add something that is floating in the air, then what I said in the previous sections, like what I said is everything, if it is rotate on the same plane, all the vanishing points will be on the same horizon line. That rule doesn't apply. You could just draw a new cube that you wish to. So for example, in this illustration, Krantz demonstrated with something like this. There you go. And so for this cube, the two vanishing points will not be on this line at all. It will be something like here and here. So probably like here. But that's okay, because as we mentioned just now, it is not on the same plane. It's floating in the air. So you can draw a new cube, whatever you like. And remember from the knowledge that we learned in week 3, which is to put an object in a cube. Now this is your specialty. You can put a character inside, you can put a car inside, and you can put anything you want inside. So that's the concept about floated cube, as well as the rotation of an object in the same plane. You can see that the perspectives is not that difficult as long as you know the rules to it. It's like maths. There's a underlying rules, but then after that, as long as the rules is well fitted, you can do anything you want. So finally, going on to colors, what we'll talk about today is the lightings as well as the color process. So in terms of lightings, we have the direct light. We have direct light. And we have the environmental light. Environmental light. So in terms of direct light, it is as if someone is shining a bright light into the characters, so such as this. So you can see that there's some lights shining from the character's head, and it is shining from above onto the character. And in terms of the environmental light, it is as if the character is being in an environment, and then that environment has a color to it. So for example, if it is during a sunset, then we will see more orange color. Or for example, if it is late night, in the middle of the night, and because there's no sunlight shining towards the character, so the environmental light is quite blue, quite dark. In terms of the analysis of direct light and environmental light, there are some important values in regards to them, the direct light and environmental light. First of all is direction. And you need to check that for directional light, but you don't need to check that for environmental light. So if we have a look at this reference, we could say that the direct light is shining from the right upper region downwards to the character. For this one, it's shining from the left. For this one, it's shining from the lower area. And from that one, you can see that it's also shining from the right upper. So that's what I meant by directions. Second of all is the strength of it. Either it's quite a weak direct light or extremely strong. And when it comes to this kind of problems, we can have a look at this part. For this reference, we could say that this character is being shined with a very strong high intensity white light, and as a result, his green hair has become white, his pinkish skin tone has become white as well. So the strong light color has covered up the base color underneath it. And going on to the final one, which is the color. So what color it is for the direct light and the environmental light. So if we have a look over here, we could say that the environmental light for this environment is bluish. This one is purple, yellow, purple, blue. That's the thing that we should be aware of and analyze when it comes to your own character lightings, or if you want to copy an illustration for practice purposes. You can also write this diagram down on the side to see what kind of parameters is for both of them, so for direct light and environmental light. Okay, so now let's talk about the color process. And when it comes to drawing a illustration, we start with the draft. So there will be a lot of preparations, trials, and then after that, you will have a line art. And after that, you will start with base color, light and shades, and then detailing. That's the general process of making illustrations, right? So what we'll do is I will focus on this area so that you could expand your color selections with this kind of layer styles. So what we'll do is that after the line art, right, we got the using either the selection tool that I mentioned in the previous videos, or just cover it up with a quite grayish color below. And let me pull this out. Okay, so now we got this layer. So this is the base color down below. Okay, and what we'll do now is that, so we'll start with lighting first. And remember, lights have directional lights and environmental lights, right? So we'll tackle both of them together. So let's have a look. So what we'll do is that we'll duplicate this layer, duplicate, copy J. So that's one layer above being duplicated. I'll pull this out. Okay. And then over here, press this icon, there'll be a transparent mask. In this transparent layer, if you draw in black, it erases it. And if we have a better view of it, so I'll make the top layer a bit darker. Okay. And now in this transparent layer, I'll draw with full black. You can see that it's erasing now. Okay, erasing it now. And don't worry. And now if we draw in white, it brings the color back again. So what it does is that we could actually draw the shadings with this method, okay? So we can start drawing the shadings. And let's say that we have chosen the lights being from here downwards to this area. Then over here, the shadings will be something like this, right? Like that. Here we go. Hold on, takes a while to draw this. Something like that. Right. And then right, and then probably a bit over here, a bit over there. And then because this part is having a cast shadow over here from the face, so we'll draw that part dark too. And then probably we'll just draw this part. Right now. It is just a demonstration, okay? So don't penalize me for the weird shadings, okay? I'll improve more on that when practicing the colors. So something like this. Say like something like this. And if we want to make the eyelashes coming out, we could do this as well. There we go. Good. Okay, and now we have done the shadings part. We'll go on to the base colors. So over here, I've done the base color with everything in a separate layer. The colors are all in a separate layer, right? Here's the magic. Look carefully. If I pull this out, you can see the base color is in its own group layer. For the group layer, we will change the layer mode into multiply. And here you go, we could see the things below, right? And now, if I bring out the things that we want, so let's say we want the environmental light to be blue, the direct light to be orange, then this is the lighter part, right? We could Control U and colorize it so that there's a color. We could change it. Hey, so here we go. The directional light. How you make it orangey. You can make it stronger, so a bit brighter. You can make it even brighter than that. And then for the shadings, which is more of the environmental light, we could do this instead. So we could Control U of it, colorize it, and then blue, right? So bluish. and then make it. There you go. Hey, look at this. And you can see that this character is now in a environmental light where the blue color is surrounded, but the directional light is quite orangey. Or if I want to change it around, so if I want to make the directional light to be in the area of this part, and I want to change up the environmental light so that it has a bigger mass of it, then could change it again. The Control U for this part, reduce the brightness to it because we want the whole character to be in a bluer situation. Do this, bluer color, right? And then could reduce it. And for this part, you can make it brighter now, and then could let's say, where's the orange? Orange. Red is quite good as well. So red, here you go. And now here you go. We have changed the characters into a different light mode again. So this is quite a good way of trialing different things. So it helps expand your color palette to something that you have never tried before. And of course, if you want to change the base color, you can do it as well. So over here, let's say I want to change the hair color to something random. Let's say I want to change it to red or blue. Then because of the multiply layer mode over here, the computer automatically process how this new light is gonna affect on the blue hair. So I don't need to contemplate on, okay, so now I have blue hair, I'm in a purple light, so the blue is gonna become a bit more purplish. Those kind of thinking process, just leave it to the computer. We don't need to do it anymore. Hopefully I explained it well enough so that you could have a grasp of this amazing technique and try it yourself in your next illustrations. If there's any questions in regards to this method, leave a comment below and I'll make more videos on that. So overall, that's the thing that I want to talk about in week 4. So we talked through the components, the power of foam capturing 2.0. We went through how to rotate an object in the same plane, as well as the concept of floated cube. In terms of color-wise, we go through the light analysis, the directional light and environmental light, as well as the new color process, the white statue method, where you are able to change up the lightings, the strength of it, the color of it, as well as the base color with it. And you don't have to think about the effect that it can have onto the base color because the computer will do it for you with the layer mode of multiply. If there's any questions and concerns in regards to what I talked about today, feel free to comment down below. But thank you for watching and I'll see you in the final video next week. Bye bye.